The Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game has a long history of evolving mechanics, especially through its master rules, which have reshaped the gameplay with each significant update. The most recent revision, Master Rule 5, came in November 2021, and it has been a few years since that update. Players are wondering whether Konami is planning a Master Rule 6, and if so, what innovations it might bring. With new formats like Rush Duels emerging and the 25th anniversary of the franchise on the horizon, there are plenty of possibilities for changes that could shake up the traditional Yu-Gi-Oh! Experience. A non-monster extra deck card type. Intrigue. One potential direction for a Master Rule 6 could involve the introduction of a non-monster card type in the extra deck, which would bring a fresh dynamic to the game. Currently, the extra deck is filled with various types of monsters, including Fusion, Synchro, XYZ, Pendulum, and Link monsters. These types have all brought unique mechanics to the game, but they also contribute to power creep, making older cards less relevant or requiring constant support updates. An idea worth exploring is the introduction of intrigue cards, non-monster cards in the extra deck that wouldn't involve summoning mechanics. Instead, these cards would have completely different activation conditions, like being activated directly from the extra deck by a process called expunging, where a face-down extra deck card is banished face-up to trigger its effect. Since they wouldn't need to be drawn, consistency wouldn't be an issue, but players would still have to balance whether to include monsters or intrigue cards in their extra deck, which is limited to 15 cards. Intrigue cards could bring new strategic depth to the game, offering powerful effects that don't rely on monsters being on the field. However, there would be a balancing act with cards that restrict banishing, like Imperial Iron Wall, which could serve as a counter to these new cards. This could also open the door for new types of disruption and interaction, where cards designed to negate intrigue cards would be necessary. Revamping tag team duels. Another area where a Master Rule 6 could make a significant impact is in the tag team duel format. While the current rules allow for two players to cooperate, each with their own personal field, the way the game handles shared spaces and card interactions often makes it difficult for both players to play effectively. Introducing a more seamless system for tag team duels could drastically improve the experience. One possible improvement is creating 3 separate fields, one for each player's side, plus a middle field where cards from either team can interact. The middle field could serve as a shared battlefield where cards could affect both opponents and teammates, but with limitations based on positioning. Players could special summon monsters from their extra deck to the middle field, depending on which cards are pointing to it. For example, Link or Pendulum monsters would have a more strategic role in connecting these zones, and the central field would act as a more vulnerable space with new interaction rules. By separating the fields and enforcing clear distinctions between zones, players would be able to play with more freedom while still being bound by their team dynamics. The concept of pendulum summoning and the interaction with Link monsters could create new opportunities for cross-team collaboration, where players must coordinate their strategies more carefully. A new master rule could reinvent Yu-Gi-Oh! As Yu-Gi-Oh! Approaches its 25th anniversary, it's clear that the game is ripe for new innovations. Whether it's through a new extra deck card type like Intrigue, or a revamp of tag team duels to allow for more diverse strategies and clearer gameplay, Konami could breathe new life into the series with a potential Master Rule 6. However, there are many considerations such as power creep and maintaining balance that would need to be carefully managed. The introduction of new mechanics or a revised gameplay format would likely come with challenges, but also the excitement of fresh possibilities. Whether these changes come sooner or later, one thing is certain: Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans are always eager for new twists, and a Master Rule 6 could very well be the next big leap forward for the game.